and welcome to NTA Nationwide with me, Jumwa Yusuf. We begin with the latest update on the Edo election as the incumbent governor of Edo State and candidate of People's Democratic Party in Saturday's governorship election has been elected for a second term. He polled a total of number of 307,955 votes to beat his closest rival, APC candidate, Pastor Osage Ize Iyamo, who scored 223,619 votes. He was declared winner by the returning officer of the election and Vice Chancellor of the Federal University of Petroleum Resources, Efron, Delta State, Professor Apolfore Remu Kufe.
Osage Ize Iyamo of APC have 223,619 votes. 223,619 votes. Godwin N. Obaseki of the PDP had 307,955. 307,955. That Godwin N. Obaseki of PDP, having satisfied the requirement of the law in meeting the 25% in two-thirds of the local government areas in the state and having a margin of lead higher than the council votes, is hereby declared the winner and returned elected. Signed by my president. Today, 20 September 2020. Thank you.
Meanwhile, the winner of the 2020 Edo governorship election, Godwin Obaseki, has reacted to his victory.
The great people of Edo State have spoken, and they have spoken loud and clear. We thank God Almighty and give him all the glory for this victory. Thank you, President Muhammadu Buhari, for defending our democracy and allowing the Independent Electoral Commission, INEC, and the security services to perform their constitutional functions without interference. INEC and the security services have shown Nigerians and the world indeed that they are capable of conducting free and credible elections. Words fill me in saluting the teeming supporters who displayed courage in the face of threats, intimidation, and brutalization. The collective will of Edo people made it possible for us to triumph over godfatherism. We thank you all. I am eternally grateful to my party, the People's Democratic Party, PDP. And my brother governors, not only for giving us the umbrella during our political storm, but for the hard work which has brought me back to office. Our success has reinforced my belief that there's nothing we cannot achieve as a people if we pull forces together and collectively call on God.
And our correspondent Udoak is also standing by to give us an update on the mood of the people in Benin and probably other parts of the state. Udoak, if I might ask you, today is a defining moment in the democracy of Edo State. Can you tell us what the mood and the situation is like over there?
Thank you, studio. I am right here at Obalvara Square, popularly known as the King Square in Benin City, Ring Road, precisely Ring Road in Benin City. And the mood here is that of excitement, jubilation, and we have party supporters of the PDP who converged here on Ring Road to celebrate the victory of the PDP at the polls. The situation here is that of excitement.
Okay, thank you so much, Udwak. Well, moving on, the Emir of Zazzau, Alhaji Shehu Idris, is dead. He died this morning after a brief illness. The late Emir, who ruled Zazzau Emirate for 45 years, died at the age of 84. And Awal is standing by in our Lagos Network Center for an update on the building collapse at Ekjibo and more stories from that axis. Hello, Awal.
Hello, Jumai. Good afternoon to you. The second wing of Excel College three-story building that collapsed at Ekjibo in Lagos has been completely demolished. This is following an integrity test carried out on the building and a directive by the state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Joy Ken Abakwaya has the details.
Residents of Ansarudin Street and environs looked on with sadness as the remaining part of the collapsed three-story building that housed a secondary school for over 20 years was brought down by officials of the Lagos State Building Control Agency. These women, evidently pained by the incidents, have worked in the collapsed school building for over 10 years.
We are the kitchen staff at the school. We worked till 3 p.m. Friday, preparing for resumption.
The building collapsed early Saturday, and luckily there were no casualties, as the signs of distress were noticed earlier, and the building sealed in preparations for repair.
So one wing was where it was affected. So we noticing that, okay, we declared that site closed, that we would have a proper engineering assessment. And then we communicated to our parents that we will not be able to resume again.
Even that morning, the engineers and the director of the school were supposed to be inside the building. So nothing would have compared to losing any of those souls. So we are grateful to God. We are not in a mourning state at all.
The demolition, according to state officials, was carried out after the Lagos State Material Testing Laboratory conducted an integrity test to determine stability of what was left of the structure to forestall any secondary incidents. In Lagos, Joy Ken Abakwaya, NTA News.
As the COVID-19 pandemic persists, Nigerians have been advised to take advantage of the opportunities provided by the pandemic to further explore their individual strength and potential. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu gave the advice when the national president of the Nigerian American Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Toyin Akomolafe, led some board members of the chamber on a courtesy call on him at the Lagos State Government House, Alausa, Ikeja. Nosa Usula reports.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu noted that while the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic has had a lot of negative impact on the state's economy, it has also challenged people to look inward and discover ways to utilize opportunities.
It has also energized us to sort of like think out of the box and ask ourselves, you know, the resilience and the ability for each and every one of us to still be able to, you know, come out and do well.
The national president, who had earlier commended the Sanwo-Olu administration for its effort in combating the pandemic, said the visit was aimed at soliciting government support in getting a permanent site for the chamber, which has been in existence in the country for the past 60 years.
And we need to look inward. Late President G.F. Kennedy said, ask not what your country will do for you, but what you do for your country. So it's high time we stopped looking forward to the federal government to do things for us. I think Lagos State has capacity to develop and be a mega city of Africa. Not just that, also be a giant world economic power.
The Nigerian American Chamber of Commerce is the first and oldest bilateral chamber of commerce in Nigeria. It was established in 1960 to enhance business relations between the United States of America and Nigeria. In Lagos, Nosa Usula, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Nationwide. More reports after this timeout. Don't go away.
ATV College Jos, an affiliate of Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, is currently admitting students for its ordinary diploma programs in television journalism, television production, and television engineering. Interested candidates are advised to obtain relevant information concerning eligibility at our website at www.ntatvc.edu.ng or marketing department of any NTA station nationwide. For further information, contact Assistant Director, Marketing, NTA TV College Jos on 0803-314-4383 or the Academic Office of the College on 0806-980-9807. Announcer, Registrar.
NTA News 24. A 24-hour news station brings to you news and happenings 7 days a week.
News at 10 a.m., news update at 11 and 1 p.m.
News desk at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and late evening news at 11 p.m.
Follow us on any of our platforms and keep abreast of events and current affairs within and outside our shores.
We are on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46,
Star Times channel 101 and Free TV channel 703. Join us.
A new edition of TV Guide is out, featuring great personalities from all walks of life. Expository interview with a young TV presenter who shows passion on what she does, Morayo Afolabi Brown of TVC. Pick a copy of this compendium of mind-blowing stories and get abreast with issues as regards media convergence, leadership, health, star profiles, star programs, fashion, sports, human angle stories, and lots more. Meet some media professionals within our space who have paid their dues in no small ways. TV Guide, very incisive, very educative, and compelling. Grab a copy at the vendor near you or NTA stations nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
Yes, that's the painful effect of what corruption costs you. But what does corruption cost us all? Watch Bad Guys on NTA Network, 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. every Wednesday from the Akin Fadeyi Foundation. Bad Guys. Who are the bad guys? Join us.
Welcome back. This is NTA Nationwide and we are live in Abuja. President Muhammadu Buhari has commended the election process in Edo State, which led to the victory of the governor, Godwin Obaseki, as declared by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. In a statement, the president congratulated the winner and urged him to show grace and humility in victory. In his reaction to the outcome of the election, as announced by INEC, President Muhammadu Buhari's elections, the foundation of our political and moral authority, will be weak. The president added, I have consistently advocated for free and fair elections in the country because it is the bedrock of true democratic order. He commended the people of Edo State, the parties, candidates and security agencies for conducting themselves responsibly. Today, the people of Zaria and Kaduna mourn the passing of Alhaji Shehu Idris, who died this morning after a protracted illness after 45 years on the throne at the age of 85. And arrangements have been concluded in Zaria for the burial of the late Emir, Alhaji Shehu Idris. Presidential delegation led by the Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, is already in Zaria, Kaduna State. Governor Nasser Ahmed El-Rufai and the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Malan Garbashir, who are also at the palace for the burial. Let's now join Abdullahi Muhammad, who is standing by for a live situation from Zaria. Abdullahi, if you can hear me, the late Emir has been described as an epitome of peace and a bridge builder between the past and future generation. Indeed, a vacuum has been created in Zaria. What is the mood like today?
Thank you, Jumai, for joining us here at the premises of the palace of the Emir of Zazzau. Indeed, today is a very sad day for the people of Zaria, Kaduna State, Nigeria, and the world over. While we were coming into the palace here, we have seen people in clusters talking about the Emir. Just as you mentioned, people are saying that the Emir has left a big vacuum that they're wondering who else is coming to fill in that vacuum, particularly talking about what he has done to ensure peaceful coexistence of people in his emirate and so on and so forth. Behind me, you can see clearly that the palace is filled with people from across Kaduna State and other states across Nigeria waiting for the proper burial to commence. An hour ago, the body of the late Emir was brought into the palace, and right now what is going on inside the palace is the final rite to the body before the body will be brought out here again for a salat. That's a final prayer according to the Islamic rite for his people to come and then pray for him and so on and so forth before the final burial will be taking place inside the palace. So far, as you have mentioned in your intro, all those delegates that you're talking about have arrived. They are all inside the palace, are waiting for the final, the rites to be conducted and finished before they will come out then and do the salat outside here for the body.
Abdullahi, will it be an open ceremony or is just for family and traditional rulers?
Well, exactly 5 o'clock, we are expecting that the burial, the final burial will take place here. A lot of people are in there, traditional rulers, people from all walks of life are all in there waiting for. So we can't say precisely how that's going to play out, but we know that it's a kind of salat, the Islamic rites that is going to take place immediately after the final rites that they will do inside the palace is finished.
Thank you so much, Muhammad Abdullahi. Thank you for your input. And as we mourn him, we also celebrate the life of an icon. Now, as the rainy season intensifies with its attendant consequences of flooding, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has taken its 2020 flood mitigation response and recovery advocacy to Yobe State to avert loss of lives and property. Director General of the agency said, considering this year's seasonal rainfall prediction and the annual flood outlook, it has become imperative for government to evolve strategies to minimize losses. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
Year out, flooding in Nigeria believed to be one of the major phenomena that is threatening the existence of many communities across the Federation, despite efforts by relevant authorities and other stakeholders in sensitizing the populace on the need to adopt measures to mitigate and control the disaster. Available statistics obtained indicated that in Yobe State this year, the flood disaster has claimed 9 lives and destroyed many communities in 16 out of the 70 local government areas of the state. In a bid to strengthen collaboration and partnership in combating the annual disaster, the Director General of NEMA, Muhammadu Muhammad, was in Yobe State on an advocacy visit for government in the state to key into the 2020 National Flood Mitigation, Response and Recovery Drive.
This year, the highly probable flood risk areas in Yobe State include Gaidam, Bade, Bursari, Karasua, Yusufari, local government areas. Your Excellency, in view of the foregoing, I wish to request the state government to kindly take proactive and necessary mitigating measures in addressing these issues.
Governor Maimala Buni, represented, said at the onset of this year's rainy season, government, through the State Environmental Protection Agency, had evacuated and cleared drainages and waterways in flood high-risk local government areas, and this was in addition to the construction of waterways in towns and villages as part of measures put in place to control flooding in the state.
The Yobe State government has been doing its best. In fact, as part of the effort of state government to contest this flood, the government approved the appointment of local government sanitation committee in each of the 70 local governments. One of the major responsibilities of this committee are to clear the drainages so that allow free flow of rainwater, at least to stay within the major towns of the other towns.
Highlight of the advocacy visit was the presentation of documents containing the 2020 seasonal rainfall prediction and the annual flood outlook to the state governor and the executive secretary of the State Emergency Management Agency for scrutiny and adoption. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
In another development, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has tasked Benue State government to brace up towards addressing an impending flood disaster predicted for the 2020 flood outlook. Director Disaster Control, NEMA, Vincent Owan, advocated this when he visited Governor Samuel Otum at the Government House, Makurdi. Charles Abba reports.
Nigerian Meteorological Agency has continued to release yearly outlook of flood disasters in the country in order to create awareness and ensure adequate preparation by affected states to rise to the occasion. It is to tackle the agency's flood prediction for the year 2020, which will affect most states of the Federation, including various communities of Benue, that informed the visit by the Director, Disaster Control Department, NEMA, Vincent Owan, to Governor Samuel Otom. He urged Benue State government to put in place effective mechanisms preparatory to addressing the impending disaster in order to sustain the food basket of the nation.
Unfortunately, the predicted floods have started to occur in many parts of the country. Therefore, it is imperative to activate all plans and measures against the prediction as the seasons move towards the peak.
Governor Samuel Otom, who appreciated various interventions of NEMA in the donation of agricultural inputs and palliative items to the state, said the state government has been sensitizing the people on precautionary measures against flooding. He, however, re-emphasized concern over the silting of River Benue and called for its dredging to forestall adverse flooding in the state.
2017, when the whole state was devastated with flooding, Makurdi was flooded with water everywhere. And the vice president graciously came here and he saw our plight and promised that he was going to work towards the dredging of River Benue. That will be the solution.
He also advocated means of water retention or storage to boost dry season farming to enhance food security. In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
As the flood continues to ravage communities, National Emergency Management Agency makes 26 Battalion in Sokoto to synergize on emergency response. These and more with Musa in our Sokoto Network Center. Hello, Musa.
Good evening. The National Emergency Agency, NEMA, has expressed fear over possible flood in 10 local government areas of Sokoto State. Sheikh Mohammed Detti reports that Director General of the agency dropped the hint at an advocacy visit on flood to 26 Battalion Nigerian Army Barracks, Sokoto.
The probable flood risks local governments in Sokoto include Gorenyo, Sokoto North, Sokoto South, Sabon Birni, Raba, Isa, Dengeshuni, Kware, and Wurno. NEMA Director General Air Vice Marshal Muhammad Alhaji Muhammad, retired, decried the flood has become a recurring experience in Nigeria. Represented by Director of Special Services NEMA, Engineer Joseph Akujobi, affirmed that the annual occurrence of flood is threatening the agricultural potentials of Sokoto State. Sokoto State is known to be one of the major food producers in the country, with citizens engaged in farming activities. He affirmed that the annual occurrence have continued to threaten the potential of food production in Sokoto. Even though climate change is largely blamed for the increasing phenomenon, the Director General called on all and sundry, government inclusive, to adopt strategies capable of minimizing losses. Commanding Officer 26 Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Umar Ahmed Muhammad said the Army has its disaster response unit. The battalion is currently in charge of both Sokoto and Zamfara states in terms of disaster response, affirming readiness to take care of disaster-related issues. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Detti, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government embankment project constructed to protect riverine communities and rice farmlands at Bagudo in Kebbi State has been overpowered by flood. Noratango Ikili has the situation report.
The federal government spent billions of naira in erecting these embankments to contain threats posed by flooding annually in the affected areas. Due to the volume and speed of the water this year, the embankment was overpowered, exposing rice farms and hundreds of communities to the flood. Tens of thousands of hectares of rice farms here in Gente have been submerged by the flood, and these farms belong mainly to key actors on the rice value chain in the country.
We expect to harvest over 50,000 metric tons of paddy rice here.
This development forced many farmers out of their farms to upperlands for safety.
We tried our best with all the machineries we have, including the manual labor. Those who are close to us, we battled it since then till today, but the water overpowered everything.
Approaching Vagudo was a pitiful sight of families displaced and villages submerged, with many victims struggling to survive the disaster with little they can come along with of their property. Public infrastructure such as hospitals, schools and bridges have been overtaken by the flood, posing a serious humanitarian crisis. Behind me is the famous Tuga Bridge, which serves many communities in Kebbi State. Not only that, the bridge links Nigeria with Benin Republic, but access to it now is almost impossible as a result of the flooding. In Bagudo, local government area of Kebbi State, Nuratanko Akili, NTA News.
Well, that's it from here. It's over to you, Jimmy.
Thank you so much, Musa. And still on the death of the Emir of Zazzau, President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed shock and grief over the death of the Emir of Zazzau, Alhaji Shehu Idris. In a condolence message to Governor Nasir El-Rufai, the government and people of Kaduna State, the president said Nigeria has lost one of its longest reigning monarchs whose contributions to the promotion of unity and peaceful coexistence among Nigerians cannot be forgotten for years to come. The president said the Emir of Zazzau, who ascended the throne in 1975, had used his long reign to serve his people with dedication and identified with their aspirations at all times. He prayed to Allah to forgive the late Emir and grant his family and subjects the fortitude to bear the loss. Still staying in Kaduna, the road component of Kaduna Urban Renewal Project is expected to be completed in the next 18 months. Governor Nasir Ahmed Rufai, while inspecting the progress of the work, urged the contractors to speed up the project. Mohammed Umar Anjiki reports.
It is a city under construction, with workers toiling day and night, constructing new roads, dualizing old ones and building bridges. At the popular Yakubu Gawanwe, for instance, an underpass and overpass are being built, so the Levantis roundabout has since given way. The old Cow Bridge has been brought down, and new pillars already standing tall, waiting to bear the burden of a world-class overpass. A new Kaduna is emerging, as the Raba Road has also been closed for the construction of a bridge that will link Ungwan Kanawa and Rigasa railway station.
We went to China and signed a global agreement with CCECC in Beijing, in China, their headquarters, to be partners with Kaduna State government. So we're working together. So whether we have money or not, they will work. But we have money, we are paying them. When we launched this project, we gave them an advance payment of 10 billion naira.
This 5.6-kilometer road linking Millennium City through the Eastern Bypass is receiving desired attention as work progresses on it. This is in addition to the housing projects springing up in the area. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umrajingi, NTA News.
Still talking infrastructure development, the industrialization drive of the Osun State government receives another boost as Governor Boyega Oyetola flags off Osun Ethanol Biorefinery in Iragbiji. When completed, the refinery is expected to provide additional 10,000 jobs in the state. Correspondent Joshua Ogunjide reports.
Ethanol, a byproduct of cassava, is one of the safe energy sources the world has embraced as a measure to also prevent global warming. Against this background, Osun State government, through public-private partnership, welcomed the establishment of the ethanol biorefinery factory at Iragbiji as an harvest of the Osun Economic and Investment Summit, convoked in November 2019 to stimulate the economy of the state.
Osun Ethanol Biorefinery factory will be operating on over 21 hectares of land consider to it as equity. On full operation, it is estimated that it will attract about USD $70 million to the state and generate over 10,000 jobs.
There will also be 3 bio-gel microplants in strategic locations across the states to carry out the gel production and packaging over the next 4 years. It will also, in turn, promote cassava business in the state of Osun, as well as market linkages for proper local and international trade of the finished products.
When completed in the next 36 months, the Osun Ethanol Biorefinery will generate an estimated 10,000 jobs with a production capacity of 7 million liters of biofuel annually. From Abuja, Joshua Okojide, NTA News.
Let's now join Larry in our Ibadan Network Center as Oyo APC moves to reconcile aggrieved members in Ibadan. Hello, Larry.
Evening, Jumai, and welcome to Ibadan. Aggrieved members of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Oyo State, who defected to other parties during the 2019 general elections, have returned to the party as part of the ongoing APC reconciliatory efforts in the state. Correspondent Shola Wahid has the details.
At the reconciliatory meeting, aggrieved members of the APC, including those who moved into other factions and other political parties, converged to chart a new path for a stronger and a united force for the state. From the 33 local government areas of Oyo State, the mood of members of the All Progressive Congress reflected in the new commitment which the party is experiencing in the state.
I went home. Home is APC.
We belong to the same lineage, and we have always belonged to the same political school.
For this meeting is to bring APC back to life in Oyo State. You can never see a candidate's name on the ballot paper. It's the party's name that you always see there.
It was intended, it was conveyed to let old hands that issues and circumstances has put afar to come together and come and ruminate on issue of common concern.
Strategies were discussed at the meeting and alliances formed within the party ranks for stronger progressives. In Ibadan, Shola Wahid, NTA News.
And moving on to a story from the education sector, as schools in Ogun State prepare for the reopening after COVID-19 lockdown, arrangements are being finalized to train teachers on security consciousness across the state. Commandant, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Ogun State, Hamad Abodurin, disclosed these during a tour of NSCDC formations in Imekwafon local government area of Ogun State. Musa Toliat has the details.
The tour formations in Imekwafon local government area by the Commandant, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Ogun State Command, Hamad Abodurin, also focused on the need to foster community partnership with a view to promoting security awareness among the locals and enhance intelligence gathering capacity of officers and men of the NSCDC in the community.
What we're going to do is to train teachers, pick 1-2 teachers from each school, assemble them and train them for 2-3 days to become security conscious. Then we're going to give them a curriculum that they can follow for like 30 weeks, which makes a term.
This informed the discussion between the NSCDC boss and the leadership of Imekwa for local government area.
Training of the children on security consciousness is well appreciated, and the local government will key into that also.
Thereafter, the commandant met with the officers and men of the NSCDC, where he advised them to work in concert with other security agencies to check organized crimes and curb smuggling along the border community. In Imeko, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
And I'll hand you over to Jumia in our Abuja studios for continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you, Larry. Now, in line with the global best practice of modern Air Force operation, the Nigerian Air Force has trained and graduated 24 repellers at the annex of Regiment Training Center, Bauchi. Muazu Hassan reports that the force also inaugurated 219 personnel for Special Force Course 7 2020.
The graduation ceremony of the 24 successful intermediate rappellers begins with the demonstration of necessary skills, tactics and procedures the trainees have acquired during the course, which is expected to enable them operate effectively in the Nigerian Air Force Special Operations Force units. Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, represented by the Air Officer Commanding Ground Training Command, Air Vice Marshal Idi Amin, says the course was designed to equip the instructors with what it takes to adequately mold the trainees into the best special force operatives.
At this juncture, that we are proud of the standard of knowledge and skill which the instructors inculcated in the trainings of various courses, as well as being demonstrated by the special forces involved in various internal security operations across the country. We urge you not to rest on your oars, but to continue to work assiduously for further improvement.
The 219 personnel inaugurated for the Special Course 7 2020 comprise 14 officers and 205 airmen and airwomen. The course is said to be very rigorous and is expected to produce resilient, trustworthy and professional special forces. In Bauchi, Moaz Hassan, NTA News.
More than 500 youths and women from different communities across the country are to undergo training in various skills acquisition program aimed at enhancing government's economic recovery and growth plan. Elizabeth Yila Lamido reports that the training is an initiative of the National Agency for the Great Green Wall, flagged off in Kano. The report.
An effort to combat desertification, land degradation and drought, the National Agency for the Great Green Wall takes an approach that emphasizes poverty reduction, capacity development and sustainable livelihoods in communities. The entrepreneurship and skills acquisition will give succor to the rural people and reduce the high rate of unemployment through training in the art of tailoring, knitting, perfume and soap making.
Government gave me a knitting machine. May God bless them.
I was given a sewing machine, so my life will change. I will have something doing together with what I have been doing before.
Government has supported me with a sewing machine. May God reward them.
The Minister for Environment, Mohammed Mahmoud Abubakar, who flagged off the program, presented the participants with their training equipment as he engages in a commemorative tree planting.
After this, we will again undertake another initiative. It may not necessarily be in the same area, but any area that can improve the welfare, the well-being, the livelihood of the people that will be trained.
At the end of the day, these trainees will be masters of their own art. They will generate income, they will raise the family income and ensure sustainable livelihood in their respective communities.
The training is to be carried out in 11 states, with 55 pilot communities having a minimum of 9 trainees from each community, as well as 5 skill acquisition centers located in Kano, Bauchi, Katsina, Sokoto, and Yobe states. In Kano, Elizabeth Yilalamido, NTA News.
Governor Wanyi inaugurates police area command in Udenu, Enugu State. For these and more, Mina Okwabasi is our guide. Hello, Mina.
Hello, Jumai. Good evening and welcome to Enugu. Travelers along the Enugu-Makodi Highway, as well as residents within the Udenu Police Area Command, are now assured of stricter security with the completion and inauguration of the Area Command headquarters in Oba, Udenu Local Government Area of Enugu State. Inaugurating facilities at the permanent site, Governor Ifeanyi Ubwai expressed the gratitude of his administration to the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, for approving the site to enhance security of the area and its jurisdiction. Susan Eze has details.
Carved out of the former Nsoka Area Command in Enugu State, the Udenu Area Command, since its creation in December 2017, has been operating from temporary sites. This ceremony, which marks the official move to the permanent site of the Area Command headquarters in Oba, is quite significant. owing to the strategic nature of the area as a gateway to and from the north, the southeast, and the south-south zones through the Enugu-Makurdi highway. Due to the increasing number of officers and men of the command, Governor Ugwanyi noted that it became imperative to provide a permanent site. With the donation of about 3 hectares of land by the Ohomoba community, the state government, he said, diligently provided the facilities currently on ground.
I'm immensely grateful to the Inspector General of Police for approving of the Police Area Command. Today, as we stand on the threshold of history, we are happy that the permanent site of Police Area Command headquarters of that is ready and fervently hopeful that it will change the security narratives within its area of jurisdiction.
State Commissioner of Police CP Ahmad Abdurrahman and the Pioneer Area Commander ACP Edwin Obegaga acknowledged the governor's commitment to security in the state.
You have symbolized the stability of your state, and we see the passion.
The community leaders assured of their support for this area command, which covers 5 police divisions in Enugu. Susan Eze, NTA News.
The high rate of gross reduction in the moral values of today's youth has become a source of great concern. A society with such deterioration or outright collapse in upholding societal values, beliefs, norms, and ethical standards of its youths seem to have a bleak future staring at its face. What is responsible for such alarming increase in the rate of moral decadence amongst youths of today? Correspondent has details.
The hunger and thirst for good things of life have set youngsters running on the fast lane of internet frausterism, obtaining by tricks, kidnapping, prostitution, and other debasing and immoral acts just to acquire quick wealth.
Moral decadence is one cankerworm that has continued to eat deep into the fabrics of our society. Cultural contact, of course, is one of them.
There's been a total lack of interest in other educating and legitimate means of livelihood, while some youth struggle to engage in legal trades and ventures that build up their capacity to handle more tasking challenges of life. Others seek the easy way out. It was a blame trade amongst respondents who incessantly point accusing fingers on both parents and the society for not providing the enabling basic background and environment to inculcate good moral standards on youths of today.
Parents will encourage their children to go and wear short wears, skimpy skirts, tights, and the rest. If you see a mother, it will dress her child on indecent dressing, and when the child grew up, he or she will follow that way, thinking that the mother is training her very well.
Respondents, however, call on parents and government to retrace their steps, go back to the drawing board, and put the necessary machineries in place to nip this ugly trend in the bud. In Enugu.
And that's a bit from here, Jumei. It's back to you for the rest of Nationwide.
Jumina, now in its continuous efforts towards improving civil-military relations in troubled areas, the Nigerian Defense Headquarters is targeting to reach over 5,000 people in communities of Zongo Kataf in southern Kaduna with free medical services. Saadatu Mohammed Kafo reports that the 2-day exercise started with Kamuru Ikulu community.
Series of violent crises in southern Kaduna in recent times, leading to mass killings and destruction of properties, the Nigerian Defense Headquarters has reached out to people in Ikulu community through free medical outreach to instill confidence among the people and engender military relations.
We are here, doctors, nurses, and pharmacists, and other health professionals to see how we can help the community to alleviate some of their medical challenges that they have in this community.
Services rendered include deworming for children, eye tests and issuing of glasses, dental care, free insecticidal treated nets for pregnant women, among others. Words of gratitude came from the community head as well as beneficiaries, commending the effort of the Nigerian military towards addressing their health needs.
the defense headquarters for this good gesture, bringing a lot of people, materials to come and help our communities.
I appreciate the military very well.
Pray for the defense so that the work they are doing, God will help them.
The free medical service, which will last for 2 days, is expected to cover 5,000 people within the community. From Ikulu community, Zango Katav local government area of Kaduna State, Saadat Muhammad Kafa, NTA News.
While Minister of State Mines seeks partnership for economic prosperity, Gabriel brings us up to speed on these and other stories from Port Harcourt. Hello, Gabriel.
And welcome to Port Harcourt. Minister of State Mines and Steel Development, Dr. Uchechukwu Samson Oga, is soliciting partnership with the Cross River State government to ensure economic prosperity through diversification on mining, agriculture, and digital economy. The minister stated this during a 2-day working visit to Cross River State. Paul Eber completes the reports.
Cross River State boasts of 5 out of 7 priority mineral resources selected by the federal government for development. The visit of the Minister of State, Mines and Steel Development is therefore geared towards sharing the federal government's vision on the development of the nation's mineral resources in the state, strengthen areas of partnership and sensitize miners to conduct their activities under environment-friendly conditions. Support for the realization of the Bakassi Deep-Sea Port and the superhighway projects are also identified as some of the most proficient means to exporting the nation's solid mineral resources from northern Nigeria.
There's a need for us to have a good symbiotic relationship between the two so that we'll be able to get the minerals to serve our nation and use it to build our economy.
The federal government find means where they can supervise the issuance of mining cadasters on the basis of the supervision of the state.
The minister equally had a town hall meeting with mining operators and other stakeholders in the state. The minister and his entourage visited some projects undertaken by the state government as well as mining sites in various local government areas. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
The imminent flood prediction calls for urgent proactive measures from citizens and government by way of clearing the drainages and preparing to move victims to high ground to avoid the havoc of the flood. This is the trust the speakers at a stakeholders meeting of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, in Port Harcourt. Robinson Deratede has the details of this report.
Rivers is one of the states listed among flood-risk states, with about 17 local government areas predicted to be affected by the 2020 flood disaster. The 2012 and 2018 flood incidents had devastating effects across many states in Nigeria. Statistics indicated the deaths of about 800 people, with 80,000 agricultural land squares submerged and millions of people displaced by mid-September 2018.
It costs us a lot of money to go to farm, and eventually within overnight, you lose everything back to square one. A remedy in terms of funding so that people can go back to work.
We are in dire need of the presence of the government.
To mitigate this havoc in 2020, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, is advocating a multi-agency approach involving the military, paramilitary, and other agencies in the response and management of the flooding. The River State government and residents have also been advised to clear the natural water channels and identify high plains to relocate victims.
It's for the state to prepare. Since they are the ones on ground, we expect that they should start responding first before we come in.
NEMA assured Rivers residents of quick response, especially in the area of emergency relief support. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Teratede, NTA News.
That's all from Port Harcourt. Over to you, Jumai.
Thank you, Gabriel. The increasing need for creativity and innovation to address global challenges is part of the question the book, Becoming Creative and Innovative, seeks to answer. The unveiling of the book was recently held in Abuja to change the narrative amongst young people on how to champion their creative minds. Glory Abo reports.
Where entrepreneurship is taking the lead, creativity becomes optimal for innovative ideas. The book, Becoming Creative and Innovative, explores diverse skills in achieving successes in developed economies and steps to accessing the creative spirit, especially in a digital age, which is hinged on how to foster creative intelligence capabilities throughout the society. The book, which is co-authored by a Chinese, Kosin Kim, and a Nigerian, Osai Elome, was recently launched in Abuja.
Looking at the prevailing economic situations where people or everybody want to depend on the government to earn a living, I strongly believe that with this book, number one, individual will come to know that there's a deposit of God in them that they need to exploit.
With the launch of this book, I want to believe that the eyes of Nigerian youths will be open to the fact that you need to be diligent. You need to be creative, because if you are not creative, you become obsolete.
You have a situation whereby our youths of today are relying more on utilizing these technologies, these inventions that are coming up, rather than looking at how they themselves can begin to create such kind of innovative products.
The 230-page book tends to increase awareness on the importance of creativity to break barriers and explore endless opportunities across the segment of the society. In Abuja, Glory Agbo, NTA News.
As long as there is no cure for COVID-19 or vaccine for COVID-19, observing the non-pharmaceutical protocol is the way to go. This was the stand of the Nigerian Society of Engineers Spouses Forum during its maiden edition of the end of tenure ceremony and award presentation with the theme General Health and Well-being during the COVID-19 pandemic. Haman Japani reports.
Addressing the issue of general health and well-being during the COVID-19 pandemic, National Coordinator, Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, Dr. Sani Aliwu, Director General NATIP, Julie Oka-Donley, and Managing Partner, Ethon Consult Limited, Nneka Grantia Osuki, believe that federal government has done much in the last 6 months, which has seen the most test centers across the country amid opening up the economy, with the advocacy for Nigerians to be proactive.
We need to get on top of this so that we can go back and grow our economy as well and allow our children to go to school, and also for our health system to recover so that we do not have this really negative impact on other health indices such as childhood vaccination, malaria, etc.
We've been carrying out arrests. People have been raping, violating women's rights, boys' rights, men's rights. So we just go on carrying our jobs and trying to prosecute them.
The forum promises to continue to support government at all levels, as well as assist most vulnerable Nigerians as part of its corporate social responsibility.
Providing support system to our engineering spouses and impacting communities through our reach out programs and projects.
Reaching out to the less privileged, especially of widows and children, the vulnerable in the society. That has been what we've been doing for these past 2 years of my tenure.
And I believe that when we have more women on board, we'll definitely be able to drive more prosperous policies that would attract development and sustainable social development for our people.
16 Nigerians were honored for their contributions to national development. Hamman Jamani, NTA News.
We now join Abdullahi Muhammad in Zaria for the burial of the late Emir of Zaria, who died today after a protracted illness. After a 45 years reign on the throne, he was 84. Abdullahi, the burial is about to commence now, I believe.
Yes, Jumai. If you look at it, the crowd here is unprecedented, Jumai. Every space that you can think about here at the premises, I mean the environment around the palace of the late Emir of Zazzau is taken over by people from across Nigeria, from all walks of life. This is an Emir that has won the love of so many Nigerians. And they're all here, first of all, to be part of the prayer that is going to take place just some few minutes later, and also to condole the family of the late Emir. Just look through my camera, you will kind of appreciate the number of people that have come over here to condole the family of the late Emir of Zazzau, His Highness Sheikh Idris. This is the Emir that has spent about 45 years on the throne here as the Emir of Zazzau, and during his lifetime, I can tell you that he has touched the lives of many. All that he has done throughout his life was to preach peace and then ensure development comes to the land of Zazzau itself. And that explains why so many people are here for him. I can tell you the delegation from the presidency are all in there, the governor of Kaduna State. In fact, the Emir of Kano just came in a couple of hours ago, and they're all in preparation. I'm sure they have finished preparing, doing the final rites now. They are bringing in the body any moment from now, and they will commence the salat. The salat will be the final prayer that will be conducted to the late Emir, and then subsequently he will be taken to where that is his final resting place, and that will be inside the palace, because it is tradition here that almost all the emirs that passed on here are buried inside the palace. Jumai.
Yes, just like you said, this is a declaration of love and admiration for somebody, like they said, who formed the bridge between generations of people in Zaria. And I hear that the illness was actually a brief one, not protracted like I was made to know. And I'm sure that as they mourn, the people of Zaria and the whole of Nigeria, because he has spread his wings all over Nigeria, and it is quite a shock right now. The people are really, really in shock. So I hope that God reposes his soul and grant him Al-Jannah Firdaus as we await his burial in a moment from now. That's all we can take. Thank you so much for joining us from Zaria. Thank you so much, Abdullahi.
Thank you so much, Jumai. Thank you.
That's NTA Nationwide today. Thanks so much for your time. I am Jumai Yusuf.